Hello, everyone. I am Supi Jankur, the founder of AppSec Santa. And today my guest is Hugues Thiebeauld, the CEO of the eShard, and we will be talking about mobile application security. Hugues, are you ready to help us to secure our mobile applications?
I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, great. So our famous first question is, what is eShard? What are you guys doing in France?
eShard, we are a specialist in cybersecurity of everything that is mobile, connected, and we want to be a specialist in security testing tool because we believe that having a proper security testing process and tool will mitigate the risk, will mitigate the cyber risk. And we need to offer that to our customers. So they are all big corporates willing to get our expertise and software to improve their process.
Mm-hmm. And in your business, I have a chance to look around. So you have a product for automated scanning, like mobile application, eShard, MAST platform, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And then you also offer like the pen testing service as like with your specialist and so on. Is it so?
Yes, today we have two main offerings. One concerns the chip security, but I think we are not going to talk about this. And the second one concerns the software security. So software security in mobile embedded devices. So here, if it comes to mobile application, we have a MAST, mobile application security testing tool, but we also offer advanced pen testing service. So our best-in-class experts can review your code and test the code with the latest techniques. And we have also a training program in order to help our customer to get up to speed in this new technical area.
And who uses your customers usually? Like who use the mobile application scanning testing tool?
So today our customers are mostly the corporates. So it's quite vast. So it's B2B, but a big organization, when they have something critical in their mobile app, they may be willing to work with us. Why? Because they don't have, most of the time, the internal expertise to manage mobile app security. And they don't have the tools. So they need to go fast in that area, and they trust specialists in mobile app security in order to tackle their challenges.
So the automating part, is it coming, the mobile apps also quite like oftenly getting updates and everything. And I assume many of the companies are not ready to invest to have every version will be like pen tested with like a specialist. Like it would be quite expensive, I assume. So is it fixing that? So like you have the automated scan and you can check it with, I think you guys using the mainly OWASP mobile application verification standard.
It's quite important to get it. A MAST, mobile application security testing tool, is automated. And we have to, I would say, to put in the right order the different options. Pen testing is a human review. It's brilliant. You have the creativity of the human, but the pen testing, because we offer this service as well, the pen testing must address the following question: can I break it? So I have a mobile app, and I will ask to myself, you, the expert, can you break it? And how difficult it is to break it? That's a valuable question, right? But at the end, the answer is all the time, yes, of course, I can break it. It's just software. It's more or less difficult. But I will, if I am a good expert, I will break it. Maybe in 1 week, in 5 weeks, never mind. But okay, when you come to this, it doesn't help organization issuing or releasing regular updates. So you have your mobile app, and you need to make sure that there is a minimum of protection integrated into this. This is where the MAST comes in. So mobile application security testing automates a verification testing. So it answers a different question. It answers the following question: did I do well my job? Do I have a regression? Where did I miss a point? I have a security policy. I need to make sure that I have a minimum set of protection. Are they effective? Are they here? So it's more a question of quality of security.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that it's a very complementary approach between the pen testing, can I break it, and the mobile application security testing tool, automated, systematic, which is a systematic verification for any release. The first one is very much good for the time to market. And I would say too often people are mixing both. And my piece of advice to my customers is, what kind of question are you trying to solve? When you have the question, you will understand that one is more appropriate than the other.
Mm-hmm. So it's more about like the managing the risks. So how much investment you're going to put and what it will be covering it. And in your MAST platform, I have seen like security checks for data tampering, reverse engineering. And there's like a specific set of checks that you are assigned. And how does that involve? So companies, can they add their own stuff, or how you are improving those security checks? I assume you have your own device farms that you can actually. So can you explain a little bit the process? Like I have an app. I'm an the financial institution. It's so important for anything. And what do I do? Where I do, like, who is doing it? Is it in the QA stage, or is it the security team doing it? If there's no security team, who manage this? Can you give us some ideas about it?
Okay, there are plenty of questions here. So first, I think with this MAST, we want to address three kinds of need. Mm-hmm. The first need is a potential customer, you don't have the knowledge or the expertise in mobile app security. Mm-hmm. It's normal because very few people have it. So it's specific. So you can with our MAST, you will have an immediate feedback where some stuff is missing. And that will give you the way, you will understand where you need to improve. Okay, that's the first need. The second need is, once you are aware, you want to make sure that you have a proper quality into it. And you know that you need to verify for each release. So you need to integrate in your CI/CD a process of verification for the security. You do that for all the functional stuff. Why you would not for the security? Okay. Number three, it's great to have an internal process, but sometimes it's very good to say it, to prove it in an independent way. And this is why we want to turn our tool into a demonstration of compliance. So in short, you can demonstrate to any external parties that actually you have performed all these tests.
So we made these tests already done, and by to pass those checks, so we are secure on this and that. Okay. So
if you want to address these three risks, these three needs, there is something obvious. We need to work on the binary, the final compiled code that will be executed, loaded, and executed in the mobile phone. This is very much the final stage. So we work on the binary.
Okay. So APK file, EPA file, the iOS or
exact APK file, IPA file. Exact. So APK for Android and IPA for iOS. So if you want to do properly the job, when you have the binary, there are two kinds of tests you can implement. One, you will just scan the binary. Okay, we name it a static test. Okay, so this means that you scan the binary and you will find out if some calls are made, or you can get a lot of information, except when the customer has been implementing some good protection like obfuscation, and here the binary can be unreadable very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this means that this kind of analysis are efficient, but can be very limited in case of security protection in there. And we do recommend this protection. So they are good practices. Second, we name them dynamic tests, but this term, you will see a lot of tools claiming dynamic tests. Okay, so I will choose a different wording. I will say we do execute the application in our testing environment automatically, because what we want to do is to make sure that we have a good code coverage. So this means that if your security protections is, I don't know, when you are logging to the system, you go much further than just launching the application. But how do you automate that? Because we all know that any application, they have their user interaction. You know, before going to the login page, with your login password,
you need to stimulate those elements.
Exact. So that was a technical change. And we, with our unique technology, we managed to automate a sequence which offer the option to our customer to have a large code coverage and to test their user journey, which is a sequence of code execution till the point where the verification is made.
And the customer is creating this journey, right? So they, let's say, in practice, I'm uploading my APK file, and then it renders it. Then I do, let's say, I'm logging it and doing some action, adding something, product, and everything.
It's exactly that. It's as simple as you have your binary, you upload, and then we offer the option to record a user journey. So you have a record and replay feature. So what is recording? Boom, there is a console, and like a mobile phone, and your binary will be executed exactly in the same way as you have your phone, the application on your mobile phone, exactly in the same way, except this is on our console. We will record all interaction. So you slide, you type 1, 2, 3, 4 for your password. Don't say it's secret, and so on. And then for each test, we will replay the very same sequence, like an automate. And doing that, this means that at each time, we will implement an attack. It's not really much an attack. We will actually use the same tool as an attacker would do. Like we'll try to insert a specific file seeking for a specific privilege. Okay. We want to stress if the application implements in a proper way in-app protections. If the application detects that something wrong happens for this test case, this means that we will have a success. It works. If it doesn't, this means that the application doesn't implement an in-app protection and something may be improved here.
Okay, so it's exactly the way the user interact with the app that will be simulating in your platform. So I create the customer journey, and then you use your payloads and looking the responses to decide that it is vulnerable for that particular the attacking or not.
Yes, exact. So in other words, this gives confidence to our customer how their binary would behave in case they are attacked. And for this, we implement the test that OWASP recommends in their OWASP R standing for resiliency.
Okay.
Because a good code is a code without vulnerability and with hardening. Because we all know that no vulnerability is impossible. Okay, so let's say a good code is a code with a minimum of vulnerability. So we can implement check, and we do implement check to make sure that we don't see obvious vulnerabilities. But in mobile apps, this is very specific. You need to make sure this is hardened. This is hardened means it's difficult for an attacker to manage their techniques. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is also important. This is why when you look at OWASP, you have the mobile top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the mobile top 10 covers exactly what I said, a good code with the minimum of vulnerability in terms of storage, in terms of cryptography, and so on, and a good hardening against M8 reverse engineering and tampering.
I see. And like in practice, so I use this when I the compile the app and uploading it, and in the name of like the practice, how long it takes a usual scan
so
to
today,
get like the first result to see
we have
that?
more than 100 of tests. Some are static, some are dynamic. So as you said before, because our technology targets protected app, we had to make sure that it works even if the app are protected, right? Easy to say, but I can tell you there is a technical challenge here. If the app is protected, you cannot emulate the app. So we had to discard emulation tools. So this is why we are leveraging a farm of real devices for Android.
So the term emulation is not actually maybe a tricky word for that. So you have actually the devices that you're running the app to have in the exactly the same real life condition. And
to be able to run all the testing in the proper way. Because otherwise, some tools today are available on the field, but they rely on an emulation resource.
So that's the differentiator.
If you have one protection which says no for emulation, my application cannot be executed on an emulation resource.
Then you cannot test.
The test will not work, and you will have one success, but you won't be able to have the proper feedback you are looking for. Okay. So very much we target that. So how long it takes? Because it was your question is we are relying on this. Usually more than 100 of tests. It takes 20, 30 minutes maybe. Okay. So it's definitely not something that, I mean, you can wait for 20 minutes to release the new version of the app and before publishing it. So this one is very much affordable. It's a bit more than a cup of coffee, but you have time to have a nice lunch between your colleagues, and when your back is done. And like how do you see like especially for the dynamic app scanning in the mobile app? So is there any difference that you can find in the dynamic type of scanning rather than doing a code review? So I'm asking to learn this exactly. What's the difference in the SAST and the DAST in the name of the mobile application part? But when you do a code review, you are using your brain and your eyes in order to review the code. So sometimes you have some. It can be tools as well. Like there are some SaaS tools that scan the code. Yeah, this is not the final code. You're not testing the final code. So you're not testing the final code that is being executed on the mobile phone. So for me, it's like doing a partial verification. And particularly when it's about code hardening, most of the time, the protection are put at the end of the process. Sometimes even after the code, when you are building, you are compiling. So if you want to have the proper behavior, you need to execute the binary. You have no choice. Okay, so it's not like fair to say like I have a SaaS tool I'm scanning the mobile application. No. So do I still need the DAST? Yes. So you need to have a executed version to scanning that. Yes, and we have to be careful with the word DAST because a lot of people use the word DAST even when it's I would say it's very partial dynamic testing. So they let's say they execute a code but very partially. No, we do execute the whole application as it is on the mobile phone. Okay, so it's like quite a differentiator as being using your own device farm to run this for the exact. So does it like related with the accuracy of the results? Like when you are using an emulator, does this tend to be more false positive than having like the device farm? We don't have any false positive. this is the strength of our technology. Why? Because today we are, as I said, typically we are going to use tools that a reverse engineer would use, right? And we execute the application, and during this piece of execution, we do something on the device. Okay. If the application detects that something wrong happens by a pop-up or the application will crash, here this is obvious that the application was able to detect the problem. So there is no false positive. And in order to make sure that our customers have the best value, we have even implemented some features, like we name it text detection. So if you have a specific pop-up window stating security alarm, something is wrong, and you won't be able to go further in your transaction, we are able to capture this text. So you can fine-tune your test in line with
you actually recording the what's going on when you're doing the payload, and from the reaction you actually add some context in it, like so you understand that
let's say that
didn't work and so on.
Yes, if there is a word like security alarm, we will say, oh, that's for sure it's a success.
Okay, so it's you have some keyword match, so you do some image processing or some way, I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, say like, okay, the app blocked actually this type of attacking.
Because here you very much we want to make sure that our customer have the opportunity to say when it's a success, it's a success. But there is something extremely frustrating, right? If let's say you run the test, actually there is a pop-up window, but if I were unable to handle it, it would end up with a fail. So you have like fail raid.
But actually it's like, you manage the error actually. So
exactly.
Okay.
So what we want is to give the control to our customer. We, as eShard, we never build any tool where we are the expert and you have no control. So here we give control to our customer so they can fine-tune their campaign. They can select a set of tests they want to run. And for some tests, they can fine-tune some criteria, like the success fail criteria.
Like this, if you see this pop up, if you see that, or if this happening, then it's not an issue.
Yes, and we will keep this philosophy because this is a philosophy we have in all our tools.
Okay.
We believe that we will be able to scale security testing only if people have the control. So we try to give as much control as possible.
And I didn't have a chance to see any like the scan result, like from an app. It was like I have seen some tests, but what kind of information that you have? Okay, you found this issue, but how about how I can fix this issue? How much, like, you go deep to how it helpful? Is it for security engineers or is it for developers to see that page? So if developers can see it, can they go and fix the issue with the information that you share? Or is it more about like who is the actual user in the MAST scanning tool?
So today we target different users, but everything we write in the tool must be understandable by all categories of people: developers, security officers, or security experts. So very much we try to make it understandable for everyone. Okay, that's very important that the tool targets the larger audience. So today here we will point out by being very explicit where we found the problem and how the developer should fix it. But it can be run by a security officer giving some instruction to his development team, or it can be managed by a security champion in a DevSecOps team, or it can even be it can be managed by a developer.
Yeah, those like the screen share is, I think, definitely valuable. So when you see and you can share those, I assume, does it come with like some integration options, like some issue tracking system? You mentioned CI/CD, but how it work with my the pipeline management? So I integrated with my
Here we managed to make sure that it can be integrated into a CI/CD. So we have an API. You can use Jenkins or Circle CI or whatever. And if we don't implement one of them, ask us and we will manage for you. But the idea is that this API can be used by any CI/CD.
To rigor scan, getting the results. And
today, our customers are using that. So for every release now, they make sure that there is a security verification. So they know that the binary, once it's on the store, has a proper behavior when it's being attacked. And to be fair, who can claim the same? I cannot count how many big organizations, I can tell you they don't have the control of their binary on the store.
Okay, that's interesting claim. So like, I know that it's quite a new and emerging market for the, mobile application testing, but like the, general practice may be just staying in the code review part, like before release, or like depending on laying on the QA side, but definitely, especially when it takes only 20-30 minutes, you said, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to have this before going and shipping it, especially you are working with like very sensitive data and everything.
I think there is a basic mistake that still a lot of people are doing. The basic mistake is to state that all the security is in the backend. But on one side, they are right. They have to implement a very strong security in the backend. Yes, definitely. But let's bear in mind that the mobile app is part of the system. And because of this, you have to make sure that there is a minimum of work from a cyber risk perspective done in the mobile app. Yes, the mobile app may be only a first step of an attack, but that's still part of the system. And if you want to have a consistent way to look at your system, you need to integrate something in your mobile app.
So you say that the mobile app, the issues in your mobile app can cause more than mobile app, so they can use it like to gate to somewhere, the bigger with the endpoints and everything.
A mobile app is a gate to a system, right? Obviously. So if you don't take into consideration the mobile app security, it's a bit like you have discarded a part of your system from a security perspective. That's never good. The right security is a security in depth, many layers in all parts of the system. Is how the cyber risks will be properly managed. So today you are a bank, you cannot miss this point. You cannot miss this point, because if there is an attack, what will you say to your customers? The reputational damage would be very critical. So the fact is, there was no simple way to make this verification in the past. Now that there is a tool in place, there is no excuse, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, like, it's always in the risk management, the cost and the benefits. So how much time and the money we invest to do this test, and when you can actually do in the real device, in real, the life conditions, I think that's really great. And you mentioned also like some counseling service, like the education part of the business.
Yes.
Is it like included with the, the automated tool that your customer service type of thing, or is it more about that you're giving training for like the continuously with your customer? How does it work for the education part?
So today for the educational part, let's say that the tool comes like this. So it's already kind of educational, the tool. You take the binary. In 30 minutes, you have a quick, an immediate feedback.
It's quite like the manageable,
self-manageable. However, when you're a developer, we believe that it's good to know what is at risk. What is an attack? What an attacker can do. So our set of specialized training, we name it ES coaching, has been designed for this purpose. You are a developer, you need to understand what can be done. So we will get you practical exercise, practical stuff so that you can experiment what an hacker would do on specific binaries. Once you're aware of this, but you are in a better position to secure your own code because you're aware.
Okay. So we're talking about general mobile application security training.
Exact. So this one is online, individual, practical, very much in line with the latest developments, pandemic or whatever. You can, wherever you are in the world, you are in the US, you are in Asia, or in Europe, you can have this one-to-one training. This is why we name it esCoaching, number one. And number two, we have been working into building more educational material for non-developers. Okay, so today you are a security officer in a bank. We can arrange a workshop one day where we will tell you, okay, what is OWASP? What is at stake with OWASP? What does that mean to comply with OWASP? Okay, because typically we have been running some in-depth study on some verticals. So we are about to release a white paper on mobile banking app in Europe. So we managed to do a study on over 140 apps.
Okay.
And all the results are now available in the white paper. And we were quite impressed to see that it's an emerging topic. They are good players. Nobody's perfect. They are good players. All of them are not good. And we can see that there is a lack of consistency, clearly. It's a bit like it was a hidden part of the mobile app. And we now, with our tool, we can very much scan and give the opportunity for people to understand what is inside.
Yeah, and there's free trial, right? So I can go and register and run the first test for the mobile application. So if I from the website, can I register for a trial?
Yes, you can register, or you can register. So we will be in touch. And if you are a serious player, we will offer you a free trial for 3 days. So you will be able to run it and to see.
So, I mean, anyone who is developing the app, and especially if you're in financial, so you can just get your result in an hour to see the where you are with the security of your application. And how is the pricing works? Like, how do you price the service? So
today we have different models. The first one, let's say you want to test your own app. So your own app or apps. Here we have a subscription. So you have 1 year subscription that you can renew. And here the idea is every release you make, you will be able to test. Okay, so you have access to the platform, you have access to the test campaign, you have access to you can fine-tune the campaign, you can do OWASP compliance test. All features are available to you, and you can record your own user journey and make your test on your specific user journey. Okay. So
am I buying like per application, like I have 1 mobile application or 5 mobile applications, so I buy 5 in my subscription? Is it how it works?
Yes, but we have the price is decreasing. If the more application you have, the price is decreasing. Okay, so here a ballpark figure for 1 app will be 10K a year. But after that, if you have many more applications, we will have a decreasing policy.
But how about the user number? Do you have some, the limit of the users or anything? I have 5 apps. I bought this subscription and I add all my security people, developers, QA.
We like when people are working in a collaborative way. So yes, we do that. So
okay, that's great.
No limit of users. Okay?
And there's no limit how many times you scan as well.
No.
Okay, so by the number of apps.
20 releases a year or 5 releases a year. This is the same thing. Very simple. Okay,
sounds great. I mean, I learned a lot from this. And as a last question, I want to ask, like, what's in your roadmap? So from here, like what I understood, that you have a unique perspective, unique positioning with using the real devices farm to not emulate, to actually execute the application and doing this payload. So it gets you with a clear, no false positive result you are sharing your video screens, like recordings that is, shareable with everybody. So it will be easy to have everybody on the same page. What is next for the eShard? Where you can grow the product?
So we have a kind of intensive roadmap. I think the first one is we want to provide more to our customers. So this actually here we are building a set of dashboards typically to provide analytical material for our customers. Okay, let's say that you're a big bank, you have 10 apps. Maybe you are willing to have a full overview of all the apps in your system and say, oh, this one is pretty poor. I will put the priority on this app. Okay, or I will sunset this app. But you can take decisions. Okay, first direction. Second direction, we have been working on making the demonstration of compliance for OWASP against OWASP. So I think we are unique here because we are doing OWASP L2 and R. And you will see that other solution. This is the unique solution doing a proper job on the R resiliency layer.
Resiliency, yeah.
So here we are making it even better in order to make it very much a demonstration of compliance. Okay, so you will have a proper report, and there will be a nice feature in the upcoming month about it. And number 3, we are improving our testing capability for iOS. iOS is a bit more challenging, so we try to make it, I would say, easier to use and with more tests in order to get the same experience in Android and iOS. To be fair here, all in all, we built to make a stronger ecosystem for Android and Apple.
Okay, so it will be the more coverage and better performance. Also, you planning to add the management, answer the management type of question, like which app is more secure, where we need to do the more better job on this, or if some teams specifically require some education, maybe it can be picked up from there, seeing that the apps are continuously getting the similar type of issues. That can be a signature for that.
It's the same thing in medicine. When you know where you are sick, you can find the proper medication, right?
Yeah.
But it's exactly the same thing in the digital world. We offer the scanner. It's an analysis tool in order to see where you have to be improved to improve something. Here it's a security.
Awesome. It was great talking to you. Thank you for this.
It was very nice to talking to you, Sophie.
Yeah.